Hi everybody, welcome to the Bathroom Design and Innovations Trend webinar. We are recording this today, everyone's cameras are off and you're also muted. So if you have any questions, can you pop them in the chat please, and we will either answer them as we're going along or answer them at the end. So I'm going to share my screen and get started. We've got a few people coming in. I know various people have asked if they can have the slides afterwards and the transcript, and they will be uploaded to the members section of our website when this is finished. But if you have any questions, then I'd say add them in the chat, or you can message me afterwards. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. So this is a trend report that put together really over the last couple of years, because as everyone knows, bathroom trends in design in particular don't change very quickly, mainly because we don't change our bathrooms that often, and we're quite conservative about what we put in them because for that reason. But it has been good over the last few years because we have seen some real key trends coming through, and these sort of started a few years ago at Ish, and we've been tracking them through Saloni, through KBB, through Clerkenwell, through Installer, through Decorex, through HITS, just to see whether these are actually true trends or whether they're just a bit of a fad. And we appreciate that our members know an awful lot about bathrooms and design and everything, but we also appreciate that when you go to these shows, you're very often manning your own stand and you don't have time to get out and really have a look at what everybody else is doing and maybe what the overseas competition is doing. And so this is, you know, our role to bring everything together and present it as a full report, and just really to get feedback from yourselves. And if you'd like to add anything, you know, we're very happy to add this in. But this is our take on where bathroom design and innovation is going over the next year. So we'll start with a real big trend that probably everybody knows about now, and it's about the trend for matte, earthy colours in the bathroom. And these are particularly in the sanitary ware, but also coming through in bathware, in taps and shower trays and tiles. And it's really great to see some colour come into the bathroom. And we've been trying for a long time to push colour into the bathroom and move sort of glossy white aside. And we saw a lot in Ish a couple of years ago. And there was also some quite vibrant colours in there as well. But I think really the trend has settled down to the more earthier colours, although the brights do actually make quite a statement within the bathroom and are used very often in the smaller touch points, say the taps, or in the tiles, or and as you'll see in the next trend that I'm about to show you, that there is a key trend for colour blocking, which seems to work really well with the bright colours. But I think if we were to say what the true trend is going to be, I would say that it is the sort of matte, earthy tones that have really come through, one of the ones that are dominant in the bathroom now. So this is the trend that I'll just talk about there, colour blocking. And this is a key trend in other areas of the home. And it's just about how to create a visually striking space. And as you can see, these are from Saloni last year, and they're where the walls, the taps, the furniture, the basins are all the same colour, and it's very impactful and very striking. It's very brave, but as we've seen very often, that trends in other areas of the home or in hospitality or in hotels, then very often they filter through to the bathroom. And unfortunately, we seem to be the last people to pick up on trends, but I do think this is a key one to watch out for. This is another one that everyone talks about. And I remember when black taps came in and everybody said, no, they'll never take off. And what about people in hard water areas? And It took a while, and I think still people are quite reluctant to put black in because of that reason, for the hard water and the lime scale and everything like that. But it is still come through as a real key trend. But just as black replaced chrome, we are now seeing the softer, warmer finishes coming through. And this is follows on from kitchens, which the kitchen taps and the kitchen handles are all very much these brushed copper, gunmetal, rose gold colours. And we've seen these very much in the bathrooms now. And in fact, in the design shows, this is a real key trend that people are having on their stands. And I think it's a great trend. It's soft, it works well with the earthy matte palettes, and it brings a real sort of warmth and depth to the bathroom. This is a trend that we're seeing through all the shows and in all the top showrooms as well. And it's about texturing. And again, it's about adding a visual interest to our bathroom space, which previously have been very much dominated by very smooth, very minimal finishes. And these are actually quite difficult to photograph, so you'll have to excuse some of the photographs that I've got here because they're just on my phone as I'm going around the shows. So, for example, this bath here, I'm not sure whether you can see this, but it's got some angular shapes in there around the edge, and we see this quite a lot, whether it's just very subtle, but it just means that the light reflects off it a bit better. It's a little bit softer, it gives more interest. We're seeing a lot of texture in furniture. This is quite an obvious one, but usually they're a lot more subtle. Again, quite difficult to photograph, but they just create that interest to the room. We're seeing it coming through in shower screens, whereas we previously had very clear glass shower screens. This is a rippled effect, and actually it's quite pretty, it's quite soft, it sort of blurs what's going on behind, and that's another way of adding texture. We're also seeing it coming into things like handles on taps. So these ones here, and also these ones here, these are leather handles and these are wood handles. Now, whether you think these are practical or not for the bathroom, I think it's just a way that designers are looking at bringing interest in and detailing to just add some more dimension and character. And these kind of effects can be done with ceramic or with metal finishes. They don't have to be actual wood, but it's all about bringing some depth, some visual interest to, you know, spaces that are once dominated by smooth, minimalist finishes. And we see them around in the sanitary ware here, and with the bowls here, we see a lot of bowls with this ribbed edging. Another key trend is organic shaping, and what we have got very used to, and we went through a stage probably maybe 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, where all bathrooms fittings seem to be really square. And if you remember those square toilets that actually quite uncomfortable to sit on, are moving way for sort of softer, more organic shapes, so sort of gentle curves, more free-flowing forms. And it began particularly in basins, and we can see some different shapes here and some sort of more oval shapes here. And as I said, you know, the toilets went to being very square, but they are sort of more functionally constrained. But even there's a shift here where they're much more softer and rounded silhouettes. And one of the areas that there's been some experimental work in sort of design has been these freestanding baths that have got these sort of sculptural, unstructured contours that make them really interesting as a centerpiece to a bathroom. Makes them really difficult to photograph because I'm not sure whether you can see how that works, but it's sort of higher one side and lower down here, and it was a really, really interesting bath. And if you're looking for a statement piece for your bathroom, then that's the one to go for. We're also seeing it in mirrors. Talk about mirrors a bit later on, but it's just again, this softness and organic or natural way of furnishing the bathroom. This is a trend that I'm quite interested in, because we've seen the industrial design trend in all other areas of the home, and it's never really taken off in the bathroom. But now it does seem to be making its way in, and we've seen it in quite a lot of the design shows, and we've also seen it with our members' brassware collections, where they're moving towards much more industrial style handles and fittings, and it's not about how we quite often envisage industrial to be in other areas of home, where it's sort of a bit rusty and a bit rugged and a bit raw. This is it's more polished and more sophisticated, which is why I've called it subtle industrial. And it's about showing the engineering detailing and how the craftsmanship and how things are put together, and the structure of the brassware. And it's really, really interesting, and again adds a dimension, but it's a more polished, more sophisticated look than we've seen in other areas of the home. Following on from that, we've noticed in quite a lot of the trade shows and the design shows is that shower heads are undergoing a design evolution, and we've had a shift away from the oversized traditional rain shower heads, and these are more compact designs, and they're taking their cues from industrial lighting and industrial design and industrial spotlights, and they're quite bold and they're quite sculptural. And if you see this one here, it's got a lovely twist round. This is very much like a spotlight. In fact, if I'd actually enlarged, if you could see the whole picture rather than that, it looks like a spotlight there, but it is actually a shower head. This one looks like a spotlight. Again, it's a shower head. And the new finishes that we're seeing, the brushed metals and the matte blacks and the warm tones, the copper and the bronzes, they work really well with this trend. And I think it's really good to see design being focused on certain areas of the bathroom, and shower heads is definitely sort of undergoing a design evolution at the moment, and as I said here, stepping into the spotlight quite literally. So whilst I've just said about black being taken over by other colours and other metallic finishes, one area that really is very strongly black at the moment is black stands, and we're seeing these just all over the place. And I used to say black is the new chrome, and when it comes to these wash basin stands and even the bath stands and furniture stands, parts of furniture and shelving, black really is the new chrome. It's taken over as that fitting colour that really is very strong and architectural, and it gives a crisp line, and it contrasts really well with the new organic shapes and the earthy palettes. And for the UK market, these stands are particularly appealing because they deliver that clean, contemporary look of wall-hung furniture, but without the need for an in-wall installation system. And so it makes them not only stylish, but also very practical. And it's a new modern way of showing off the brass, the sanitary ware, and it's like I say, very clean and works really well with the bathroom styling that we've got at the moment. And this moves me on to the traditional pedestal wash basin, which really has been long in need of a refresh. And it's finally got one, and these are some pictures from Ish and Saloni and from Hicks as well. And it's the new updated pedestal, and they've got organic shapes. They're very bold. There's a variety of matte and textured finishes. And again, it's really practical for the UK market, where people are looking for a more modern look but don't particularly want to wall hang their furniture, their sanitary ware. And this is a great way of updating your bathroom, your pedestal, without your plumbing constraints or structural limitations. So it's a really practical but stylish option for basins. So mirrors, this is another area that's getting a lot of investment at the moment. And I think really we used to look at mirrors as just a bathroom accessory. It's where we did your hair, where you shave, where you put your makeup on. But there's been a huge amount of investment in mirror technology, and I think really we could call mirrors a category of their own now. So they're not only decorative anymore. They're also a source of circadian light, music, daily news, weather reports, phone calls, social media. And we've seen a lot of prototypes come onto the market, and they're shown at the big trade shows and design shows. And whether they actually make it to market is a different matter. There's obviously a lot of work going on behind the scenes, but they will also become a really sophisticated way of checking your health. And this one here, this was the Rocker one at Ish, that basically it told you just took a picture of you and told you everything about you, including what they thought your age was, which was quite frightening. But this one here, this is a more sort of nearer to market version, which you can make phone calls. It's got Bluetooth. It'll tell you the weather. It'll tell you the traffic reports. And there is some interest in these kind of mirrors. When we've done research with consumers about new technology, then there was a fair amount of interest in mirror technology, but with a slight reservation that people, when they are in the bathroom, they either view it as a sanctuary where they really don't want to be bothered by social media or weather reports or traffic reports, and they prefer just to listen to music or have the circadian lighting. And then there's the other type of bathroom user that views a bathroom as a very practical space and where they can multitask. And these mirrors help them multitask while they're shaving them, they can get updated on weather reports or putting the makeup on, making a phone call. So these are real multitasking products now. And as I say, the amount of investment that's going into these means that they really are a category on their own now. This really is a follow-on from what's happening in the kitchen, and we've got used to the slab front push furniture, a piece of furniture in the kitchen, but now the handle is a real design statement, and it's with using the lovely brassware finishes that we've got now with the copper and the brushed brass and the rose gold. And it's really making a strong comeback into the kitchen, and it's also making a comeback into the bathroom, and not just on cabinet doors. Tap handles are becoming a major focus for design innovation, with investment going into how they look, how they feel, and the finish of them. And if you think about the tap and your cabinet handles and things, they are an essential touch point, and those touch points are what give the impression of luxury and quality. So it's really important that these aspects of your bathroom are done really well and provide interest. And it's this interest that brands are tapping into, because it's a way of personalizing their products. So they can turn handles into design features. There's the rise of the mix and match trend that is also driving this revolution of the handle, because you can customize tap collections to allow users to pair different spouts and finishes and handles to create bespoke fittings that gives an individual taste for their bathroom, and it's not difficult to do. So we've seen a lot of really lovely handles in the shows, and particularly the knurled handles, and going back to the industrial trend, some of them quite industrial type handle, but it is about creating touch points that are different, that are quality, that are an innovation. This is an innovation trend that we've been looking at, and it's interesting as this one, because we know from our research into bathroom behaviour that it's very difficult to get people to change their bathroom habits once they shut the bathroom door. So they kind of people are a little bit switched off from the big messaging around saving water. And when they shut the bathroom door, it becomes their private sanctuary, and they want to be clean, and they want to relax, and they want to feel pampered. So sustainability nudging is about subtle but effective ways of encouraging water efficient behaviour, without overwhelming them or making them feel guilty, but just gently guiding them into ways of using better water usage. And we do know from research through the purchase chain, from merchants and from installers, that they are not particularly being asked for water efficient products. And it goes back to the fact that people don't particularly feel that they will get a good user experience, or that really what they want is a great shower and a good flush on the toilet. So this sustainability nudging with these gentle messaging is a way to get people to change their behaviour without, as I say, making them feel guilty. And it's about smart technology, a lot of it, really. So we've got smart toilets that automatically adjust the flush when based on what the flush needs to be, and smart showers that provide real-time feedback on water and energy consumption, which helps users make more conscious choices. And it's also about very simple design touches. If we look at this flush panel here, it's very clearly marked, big, small. And we found with our research that people are not entirely sure which button to press, and maybe press both, or always press the little one but press it several times. And this is a very clear message. You either press the big flush or the small flush, depending on what's going down the loo. And these are key trends that are coming through, and I think they're very important trends if we're going to keep pushing the water efficiency message. This is actually a recirculating shower, which the BMA are looking into at the moment, and this has had some great feedback from end users. Once they've got over the ick factor of the water recirculating, then they really are on board with this product, and we're really very keen to get these kind of products to market. These are trends from the installer show, and the research that we did into installer behaviour shows a real clear preference for products that are quick and straightforward to fit, which is no surprise. And when new products are being brought to market by manufacturers, we asked installers what would encourage them to try these products, and one of the main ones was that it was easy to install, or that it was a brand that they recognised, or the other one was that it was recommended by a merchant. And then when we spoke to merchants about what meant that they would recommend products to their customers, i.e. the installers, it comes back to being this easy fit. So there is a real strong focus on bathroom solutions that are designed for ease of installation, with a particular emphasis on single person fitting, so they can fit their products themselves without the need for their help on site, and also retrofit friendly designs are also majorly highlighted at Installer, which gives installers the option to integrate easily with existing bathroom layouts and plumbing systems. And it's important for manufacturers to work both sides of the coin and understand the demand for smart installer-friendly solutions that also are great, well designed, and have great performance. And so there's a lot to think about, but the Easy Fit is really going to get the installers on side. And these are some of the bigger brands. We've got Croidex, we've got Hansgrohe, there's Vitra. I can't remember who that one was, but the big brands are really, really getting on board with this. So I just want to end by talking just a little bit about some key design trends in the rest of the house, that if you are a brand that doesn't maybe want to invest in green sanitary ware, or has already got a range of taps that need just maybe a little bit of tweaking, and you're looking at upgrading your marketing and your point of sale, and these are ways that you can sort of tap into what's going on in interior design and update the bathroom space without necessarily going in for some major investment. So this biophilia is a trend that we've talked about an awful lot, and we had a talk about it at Installer last year, I think, and it's about bringing nature into the home, and it's a key influence on interior design. And these are, I think these were from KBB Birmingham last year, and this one here behind the bath is actually a video, and it had this lovely sort of soft music playing, not soft music, sort of background water and these rustling grasses here, and it was really lovely. And it's just about making an impact in your bathroom without necessarily spending an absolute fortune. And these are some tiles down here that I saw at Clerkenwell Design Week earlier on this week, and there was a lot of these there, and they are really based on florals and leaf patterns and nature, and they look absolutely fantastic in the bathroom, and it's a great way to update the bathroom space without spending an awful lot of money. And just want to point out some colour trends that are coming through. So as we can see, we are kind of in this sort of matte, earthy way of colouring our homes at the moment. So the Dulux colour of the year is Pure Joy, and it's actually this yellow colour here, which isn't matte and sludgy, but they've paired it with all of these colours here. This is how they show it on all of their marketing materials, and I think it's a way of providing a little bit of brightness amongst all the softer, more matte, earthy colours. But they haven't quite gone brave enough to just say this, yeah, we need to have yellow on its own. Farrow and Ball, who are always well known for their earthy colours, have got a new range this year, and we've got this lovely green here that we've seen in the bathrooms and a lot of the sanitary ware, and the grey and the sort of more sort of terracotta. This fits really well with the colours that we've seen across Ish and Saloni and Hicks and Decorex. All of those are all showing these colours. And the Pantone colour of the year is Mocha Mousse, a nice sort of, I don't know, brownie colour, chocolatey colour. We've been polite about it. But again, it's the more earthy colours that we're seeing coming through as the latest design trends for the home. And I thought it was worth mentioning this because we did some work last year, and it was called Behind the Bathroom Door, and we did a diary study with 48 homeowners, and they kept a diary for a week about how they use the bathroom, and we asked them lots of different questions about how many times they went to the loo, what they put down it, how many toilet rolls, how long they spent in the shower. how long they've spent brushing the teeth. But one of the things we asked them to do was to imagine their perfect bathroom if money was no object, and to create a mood board of this bathroom. And what was interesting was that most of them actually showed black brassware within that perfect bathroom. They wanted natural light, a window with a view. They wanted a large bath. So even though we're always saying, well, people don't have baths anymore, then the perfect bathroom, if money was no object, would have a bath in it. The biophilia trend came through very strongly with plenty of plants, shelving, going back to storage. We've not really talked about storage in this one, but whenever we talk to homeowners, there's always an issue with storage and there's never enough in the bathroom. Pattern floor tiles, and if you look through some of these mood boards, then you can see that they are quite often floral, bringing the nature into the bathroom, and subtle lighting. So if you wanted to have a look at these mood boards just to see what homeowners are envisaging as the perfect bathroom, then there's a link on the bottom there which will take you through to that research, and there is an interactive version and a static version. So I think that is it for the presentation. I'm going to see if there's any Q&A. Does anybody want to add some questions in? No, we have no questions in there. So what I'll do is I'll put the slides and the recording up on the website, and it will be behind within the member zone. So when you get the link, what you'll need to do is log in to the member zone and then click on the link. If you click on the link before you've logged in, it takes you to a just the front of the member zone, so it gets a little bit lost behind that. So if there's no questions, just like to thank you all for joining me, and really appreciate you taking the time to come and listen about the trends. And if anyone's got any questions later on, then feel free to contact me. Thank you very much.